G'day everyone. In today's video, I'll show you a total of 30 different designs for house interiors and also how to build each one. They range from small decorations and tables to shelves and even a toilet. Also, these designs were created in collaboration with Crypto, an absolutely amazing builder, so be sure to check out his version of this video and give it a like. You might as well give him a sub too while you're there. And give me one too. I'm not even asking at this point. Alright, now let's get into the builds. Starting off, we've just got a simple table and chairs. This is a great build to take up some empty space in your house. Also, if you don't have enough room for this big spread out version, you could bring these chairs in one block closer as well if you wanted to. Also, for every build going on forwards, you can just look in my hotbar to see how many resources you'll need for each build. And if there's a build that has any extras, I'll be sure to let you know. So to create this simple table and chairs, all we have to do is come to the center and place a spruce fence, and on top a spruce trapdoor. And then one block spaced away, place a dark oak slab, and then the same on the other side. Now we're going to cover either side of the slab with dark oak signs. And then head to the back and we're going to place 2 dark oak trapdoors. Do the same on the other chair as well. Make sure to close them up too. And then to finish it off, we're going to place a red banner on the very top trapdoor. And there we go, there's just a simple table and chairs. Now let's move on to the next one. Next up, we have a simple shelf design, and this is best placed on a blank wall. You could of course add a window in here if you wanted to, but I think it looks best just on a blank flat wall like this. You could also replace any of these blocks with whatever you want. I'd strongly recommend putting a big full block above the slab and then a smaller, more decorative block on the trapdoor. But yeah, it's just a simple design, very easy to make. And let's create it now. Okay, so firstly we're going to add in our shelves, and we're going to start off in the bottom right corner. So we're going to place one slab like this, and then coming away from it we're going to place a trapdoor. And then to get the placement right, all we're going to do is look to the left. We're going to go up one, and then we're going to go all the way to the other side and place our slab on the top of this half block here. And then we're going to place another trapdoor and just do the same thing. Go to the right, go up one, and then all the way over to this side. Place another one, and then do the same thing again up here, and there's all of our shelves placed. Now let's just place all of our items on. So up here we're going to place a chest, and we're also going to have to place a grindstone up here. Then on this one a barrel, and then a campfire. I'll do that at the end because I have to extinguish it. Then another barrel on this one with a pot and an azalea. And then on this one, a chest with a large amethyst bud. And then up here, we're going to place a campfire and then grab our trusty shovel over here and extinguish it. And there's our simple shelving design completed. Next, we have a really simple indoor plant design. And all this mainly consists of is a composter with a couple of oak leaves or whatever kind of leaves above it. I've included a couple of different variations here, one with trapdoors, one with signs, and one with nothing. They're all obviously really easy to build, but I'll show you how to build them anyway. So to build the very basic one, all we're going to do is place a composter and some leaves above it, and that's it. Now for the next one, we're going to do the exact same thing, except on all of the faces, let's place some spruce signs. And then for the last one, let's do the same thing once again, and we're going to cover each side with some spruce trapdoors. A little bonus detail is sometimes I like to put a fence above it. If there's a roof directly above, just like this, say that this whole roof is kind of like extended all the way out, but this can look nice as well. It kind of makes it look like it's held in place instead of just extending the leaves all the way up to the roof, which can look very weird. So there's just an additional little bonus detail for you. Next up, we have some very simple kind of island designs. I don't really know what to call these, but they're really good at taking up floor space. So say you have a big open area or something like that, you can place any variation of these on the floor and it'll look great. I've included 2 different versions here, one all with barrels and then one with some crafting blocks. And I'll show you how to build each one right now. So to build the first one, all we're going to do is place 3 barrels along like this. On either side, we're going to place some trapdoors in the very center, and then we're going to cover the remaining faces with some spruce signs. And now to finish it up, we're going to place a flower pot on top with any plant of your choice. I like azaleas as they look really nice. Now onto the next one, we're going to do a pretty similar thing. This time we're going to place a crafting table, an anvil in the middle, and then a smithing table on the very end. And then instead of placing trapdoors in the center, we're going to use signs instead, or else it can make it pretty hard to get into the anvil. And then with all those signs done, once again, we're going to place a flower pot on the middle block and then an azalea in that. For the next design, we have a very simple armor stand display. It's a nice way to showcase some of your really good armor or some of your previous armor that you don't wear anymore, and it's also just a really nice decoration. You could place these in combination with each other, you could place them 2 blocks spaced apart, and yeah, overall it looks really nice, and let's build it right now. Alright, so starting off, let's place in a spruce slab on the bottom here, and on top of this we're going to place our armor stand. Make sure to build this in the same order as me, or else you won't be able to place the slab above here. See, if we place the slab first, you won't be able to place the armor stand. Next, with our armor stand placed, let's place in our spruce signs. We're going to cover all of the exposed faces of this slab with signs. Now let's place the slab above, and above that we're also going to place a spruce trapdoor, and then we're going to cover each side of this slab with spruce signs. We're not going to place one on the front, as it'll kind of cover up too much of the armor stand. And then all that's left to do is place in your armor of choice. And that's our armor stand completed. Next up, we have a barrel shelf design. This is one of my favorite designs to use in interiors, and it's mainly supposed to be used in combination with something below it, like furnaces or brewing tables or chests or something like that. And it's just a nice way to display some barrels along the top here. We have some nice shelves supporting them and also a lantern in the center. So firstly, let's place our barrels along the top. This is a row of 5. You could extend this as far as you wanted. You could also compress it down into maybe 3 blocks long. But for this one, we're just going to stick with 5 blocks. So now in the left and right corner, place in some spruce stairs. And then below and above that, let's place in some spruce trapdoors. And in the center, just whack on a lantern. And that's it. Next up, we've got a bit of a bigger design this time, which is a little brewing area with some little included nether wart farms as well. If you didn't notice as well, this is also using the design from the previous build that we just did, and this is combining that with a brewing area underneath. So to build this bad boy, let's first create the outline with trapdoors, and let's create the top trapdoors first. So we're going to go along these slabs. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks along the top, and it's on the very bottom of the 5th block. I'm going to place a row of 5 trapdoors like this, and then I'm going to enclose it on the sides like this. Just make sure to hold shift while placing these trapdoors, and let's do the same on the other side. Now that's our outline done. You of course don't really need to add this, it just makes it look nicer in this little setup that I have. Next, along the top, let's place our 5 barrels, and then below that some spruce stairs, and then in front of those stairs some more trapdoors. We're not going to place the ones down here because it's going to be taken up by the nether warts. And then let's place our lantern in here. Now along the bottom, let's place in some stripped spruce wood. This is going to be 1 block away from the side. And then on these side blocks, let's place in some soul sand. Then let's cover up the soul sand with a trapdoor. Do the same on the other side. And then in this center block here, let's place another trapdoor. And now we're all done with all the trapdoors. So replace the hotbar slot with the signs that we need. We only need 2 signs, and we're going to place these in these exposed blocks here. Now on this middle block, let's place in a water bucket and then some nether warts on top of the soul sand. And finally, finishing it off, let's place 2 brewing stands on these 2 blocks here. Next up, we've got another armor stand display. This one is more of like an array of all the different armors in the game. You could of course put whatever armors you want on this, but it's a really nice design to take up a lot of space on a blank wall. And for the items required, of course, in my hotbar, they're not all going to fit, but you're going to need 5 different sets of armor. So starting off, let's make the actual stand part first. And to do that, what we're going to do is place our trapdoors along the very bottom of the 2nd block. And we're going to place 5 in a row like this. And now below, in between these first 2, let's place in some trapdoors on the sides like this. And then we're going to do the same on the other side right here. Place in 2 trapdoors and close them up. Now, like the first armor stand display, we're going to place the armor stands before we place the top blocks, or else we're not actually going to be able to place the armor stands themselves. So let's place all of these on just like this. And now above these, let's place in our spruce slabs. These are going to be on the 1st, 3rd, and 5th block. And then our trapdoors are going to be on these in between blocks, just like this. And now you don't really need to watch me place in all of the armors, so let's do that right now. And there we go, there's our 2nd armor stand display completed. Next up, we have a couple more indoor plant designs, and we have 3 here, and these are all mainly to showcase that you can use other things than a dead bush or an oak sapling or something in this bottom pot plant to pull off this kind of effect. Like over here we have bamboo, we also have a cactus. You can use a bunch of different kinds of plants in these to get this effect. Also, I probably should have mentioned this in the first plant design, but I am using a add-on called Better Leaves, and this is what makes the leaves look really bushy. I'd recommend using it all the time. It looks amazing. It makes leaves so much more detailed and nice looking. So to build these, let's first add in our table, and we're going to place some upside down spruce stairs on these blocks here, and then in between them let's place in 3 spruce slabs. Now on the 1st, 3rd, and 5th block, place in a pot, and then in the first one I'm going to place a dead bush, in the middle one a bamboo, and then the last one a cactus, and above each of these let's place in 2 oak leaf blocks. And that's it for the plant designs. Next up, we have our first little kitchen design. This is obviously more aesthetic than it is useful, so mainly use it to take up a blank wall, and it'll just make that area look really nice. And yeah, we've got like a little sink here, we've got a lantern, we've got a nice little pot plant, and also a stove with some smoke coming out of it. And we've got a couple barrels up here as well. So first up, let's create the bottom blocks here, and we're going to do that by placing in some stripped spruce wood. We're going to place one on the very left side here, and then spaced away one block, we're going to place another one. Now in this gap, let's place a cauldron with a water bucket, and then above that a tripwire hook, and this kind of looks like a little tap. Now in front of the cauldron, let's place a spruce trapdoor, and either side of this, let's place in 2 spruce signs. Beside this, let's place in a stone block, and then to the right of that we're going to place a furnace. But before we place it, let's destroy the block below, place in a campfire, and then place your furnace above, and this gives us this like smoking effect, like the furnace or the stove has been turned on. And now that's all the blocks that could fit in my hotbar, so I'm going to switch that out now. Alright, so now let's place in our lantern on the first block here. And then on the next spruce block, let's place in a pot with a flowering azalea or your plant of choice. Now beside this, let's place a button, and on top of the furnace, let's place a stone pressure plate. Now above the furnace, let's place in a stone slab right here, and then above that a stone brick wall. And then one block beside this, let's add in our barrels. So we're going to go to the left twice, and then we're going to go up and place in your 3 barrels like this. This is pretty much just above this little section right here. And now we're just going to create a shelf that kind of supports this. So on the left and right side, place in some slabs. In the middle, a spruce trapdoor, and then we're going to encase it with some more trapdoors. You don't really need to add this in if you have a ceiling above or something like that. So that's the kitchen design now completed. Next up, we've got a little bookshelf kind of display thing, and this is really nice when used with a window. It's up to you. You can of course use this on a blank wall if you choose. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, we've got a bunch of bookshelves. We've also used this effect that I really love, which is using looms, and we're going to place them a specific way so that the loom face isn't exposed like this. And when placed like that, it looks like an empty bookshelf, and it adds a lot of extra nice detail to our bookshelves along here. So to build this, let's first add in our bookshelves, and to do this, we're going to place 3 along the left here. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then along the top we're going to add in some looms, and make sure to place them the same way that I am, so that all of the exposed faces are the actual empty bookshelf kind of looking thing. Then on these next 2 blocks, let's place in some more bookshelves, and on this last one here, let's place in another loom, and then we can jump off here. We're going to add in another bookshelf here, and then we're going to stand in this orientation and place 2 more looms like this. Now you can of course add these looms in wherever you want. I just chose these places because yeah. Next, let's add our little shelf below this top area, which kind of makes it look like it's being supported. So we're going to place a spruce stair block on the left side, and then on the right side as well, and in the middle place a lantern. And then underneath here, let's place in 3 lecterns, and then we can just place in 2 books. You can of course fill these all up with books or have no books, it's up to you. I just like this look, having 2 here and 1 empty. Kind of adds a little bit of randomness to it. And yeah, that's our bookshelf display done. Next up, we've got this weird kind of barrel display thing. It's actually inspired by wine cellars. If you Google any pictures of wine cellars and stuff like that, you'll see this kind of look, and that's where I got it from pretty much. And yeah, in between all these gaps, we just got some random decorations. You can put whatever the hell you want in there. I don't really care. So to start off, let's make our little thing that goes around it made of trapdoors. So firstly along the top, and this is 4 blocks up, and on the very 5th block at the bottom, we're going to place in some trapdoors like this, 5 along. And then on the sides, let's build this up by 4 trapdoors, close them all up as well. And I would actually recommend adding this as well. You can of course choose not to, but it does make it kind of feel like it's more enclosed or something like that. So now let's add in our barrels. We've got 10 of them in total. So we're going to start off by placing 3 along the top, and we're going to go in the corner, in the middle, and then in the right corner. And then we're just going to do a checkered pattern. So just place all of the rest of the barrels in a checkered pattern like this. Now starting from the top left, let's place in the first gap a flower pot and chuck in a spruce sapling. Then we're going to go down and to the right, and in this gap, let's place in a large amethyst bud. Make sure not to place in the largest one because it just looks a bit too big, so go for the one a little bit smaller than that. Now, in the gap to the right of this, let's place in a lantern. Make sure it's actually on the barrel. It just looks a bit better than having it hanging. Now, in this gap here, let's place in 3 candles, and then ignite them with a flint and steel. To the right of that, let's place another flower pot. In this one, we're going to place an oak sapling. And then in the very bottom left gap here, let's place another flower pot with an azalea. And there's our barrel display done. Next up is a really simple design, but it's actually a really nice way to take up some floor space, and it looks a lot nicer compared to just a normal rug made out of wool. And we've done that with just some carpet above and kind of textured it in this little pattern like this. Just adds a little bit of extra depth and makes it a little less boring. So to build this one, of course, it's very easy. Just take a chunk out of your floor. This one we've gone 3 by 5, and we're just going to replace all of these blocks here with some red wool. And then pretty much just add this randomized textured pattern. I'm going to be placing them in a specific area, so feel free to follow along with me if you want. But in the top left here, we're going to make a little L shape. Then we're going to go one up here to the right and below. And then on this side, we're going to fill them all in like that. And there's just a simple little rug design. Next up, we've actually got a little mini indoor farm design. And this is, of course, supposed to be more aesthetic than it is supposed to be efficient. It's really a little amount of crops, so you can, of course, expand this if you wanted to, but it's mainly just to add a nice little touch of greenery to your interior. So to start off, let's place our barrels along the top, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks up from the ground, and we're going to place a row of 5 just like this. Now underneath the very left and right side one, let's place in a spruce slab, and then coming along from that slab, let's place in some trapdoors, and then in the middle, a lantern. Next, let's place in some dirt. I'm just using farmland in the sake of speeding up the video, but you would be placing dirt here, so place in 3 blocks of dirt like this, and then a water bucket like this, and then we're going to extend this out to the left by an additional block like this, and then we're going to do the same on the right hand side. Then on the left side, let's place a composter and do the same on the right side like this, and then we're going to cover up all of these exposed faces here with some spruce trapdoors. And then to finish it off, all we're going to do is place in all of your crops of choice. I'm going with carrots as they look really nice. And there we go, that's your indoor farm completed. Next up, we've got another Armour stand display, and this one's more of like an encased kind of display, and it looks really nice. It's actually inside some glass blocks, and we have to use some pistons to do that. And then underneath here, we have a shroom light. You can, of course, replace this with any kind of light source block that you want. I just went with the shroom light as it looks kind of nice. And yeah, this is like a really nice case to put in like your best set of armor that you don't use anymore or something like that. And yeah, let's build it now. Starting off, let's grab our light block of choice. I'm going with the shroom light, and we're going to place this right in the middle. Then cover each side of it with a spruce trapdoor, and then on the side ones we're going to extend this up by an additional 2 trapdoors, close them up as well, do the same on the other side. Then up here let's place in a slab, and then in the middle place in your armor stand. Then add in your armor of choice. I'm going with diamond because it just looks cool. And then we can't actually place glass blocks in here while there's an armor stand in here, unfortunately, so what we're gonna have to do is push them in with pistons. And to do that, let's come around to the side here, hold shift and place 2 glass blocks right in front of it like this. And then we're going to build up some pistons just in front of those glass blocks, and then place a redstone block on the top piston like this to push them both in. Then we can just destroy all of this stuff, and then there we go. There's our armor stand display completed. Next up, we've got a really nice design that you can actually add underneath some stairs for your interior. So we've got like these supporting kind of logs directly underneath each of the stair blocks, and then we have some nice bookshelves with our little loom design. We've also got a pot plant in here as well. If your stairs go higher as well, you can of course just keep extending this more and more to the left or to the right, whichever way your stairs go. And yeah, let's build it. So firstly, let's actually add in our logs. This will make it easier to place in our staircase. So let's head directly into the center and go 1 to the right, and we're going to place our first log on the bottom like this. Then we're going to place an additional 3 going up like this. Then on top of all these, let's add in our stairs, jump down, and then we're going to add in our bookshelves. So let's add in 1 up here directly underneath the last stair block, and then we're going to place 1 down here as well. Now let's do our loom trick to place in 1 like this, with all of the exposed faces being that empty bookshelf kind of look. And then we're going to do it again right here as well. Now in this gap here, let's place in a bookshelf, and on top of that, a flower pot with your flower of choice. We're going with a blue orchid, and that's the staircase design completed. Next up, we've got yet another indoor plant design. This time we've got kind of like a green plant, and then on the other side we have like more of a flowering kind of plant. And underneath we have a barrel as well. This is kind of just to look like a little case for it or something like that. You can of course not place a barrel and just have these directly on the ground. It'll look nice either way. So firstly, let's build the green plant, and to do that we're going to place a barrel on the bottom, a flower pot inside of that with an azalea, and then above this let's place in 2 moss blocks. And that's it for the green one. Now let's do the flowering plant. So place in a barrel once again, another pot, a flowering azalea, and this time some flowering azalea leaves above that. And that's it for our 2 variations of this indoor plant. Next up, we've got like a really aesthetic kind of bathroom cabinet design. We've got like some shampoo bottles or whatever you would consider these to be. We've also got like a nice little pot plant here and some interesting drawer design. And yeah, let's build it. Firstly, let's place 2 beehive blocks on the bottom like this, and then we're going to actually encase this with some spruce trapdoors. So we're going to place 3 like this and close them up on the sides. Do the same thing on the other side as well. And then at the top here, we're going to place an additional 2 trapdoors. And then directly below these 2 trapdoors, let's place in some barrels. Now, on front of these barrels, let's place in an item frame. And then in each of those item frames, a polished black stone slab. And then we're going to place some signs as well on front of those barrels. So hold shift and right click on this little area here next to the barrel, place in those signs. Next, let's replace these 2 back blocks here with composters. You don't really have to do this, it just kind of creates this interesting little background design. Then let's add in our flower pot on the left side here with a cornflower, and then to the right of that, we're going to place 3 total eggs, just like this. And that's it for our bathroom cabinet design. Next up, we've got this aesthetic kind of table design. We've got some nice bushes on the sides, and this is really nice when combined with a window directly behind the lectern. I wouldn't really recommend using this without a window here, but you can of course do that if you wanted to. You could replace this window with a painting as well if you wanted to, but yeah, let's build this right now. Start off by heading directly into the center underneath your window or painting, or whatever in the center of your blank wall, and place your lectern, and then we're going to also place a book and quill inside of that. Now to the left and right of that, let's place some upside down spruce stairs, and then in front of all of this, let's hold shift and place a bunch of signs across. Now on the left side on this table, place a lantern, and then on the right side, a flower pot with a fern or your plant of choice. Now on the left and right side of this table, let's place a pot, and then in those pots, a dead bush. And then directly above this, let's place in 2 oak leaves like this on each side. And there's your aesthetic window table thing design completed. Next up, we've got a really simple wardrobe design. Inside here, we've actually got some armor stands with what looks like a couple of items of clothes on these little armor stands as well. So it adds an extra layer of detail. When you come in and open these doors up, there's actually some clothes in here. You can, of course, leave these out if you want to and just have like this nice, simple wardrobe design. So building this, of course, is really easy. And let's start off on the left side. Let's place a couple of trapdoors going up like this. We only need 2 on each side. Then along the top, let's place in some spruce slabs, and then to place the doors, we're gonna have to go inside, and we're gonna place the doors like this on either side. Make sure to place that one properly like that. Then come in here and place your armor stands, and then on the left one, a leather cap and some leather pants. On the right one, a turtle shell helmet, and then some netherite boots. The netherite boots are of course a little bit expensive. You could sub them out for some iron boots or anything like that. And there's your little simple wardrobe design completed. Next up, we've got this cute little bunk bed design. If you play with a friend or anything like that, then you guys can sleep together and look really cute. And yeah, we've also got this nice little walkway here. So instead of having to like climb up and quickly right click, you can actually come up here and walk along, and then you can go to bed nice and easy. And you also don't have to worry about falling out of bed. You know, when you wake up in the middle of the night, you'll roll over onto this nice little walkway. Alright, so to build this, firstly, let's grab our barrels, and we're going to place a strip of them like this. Make sure to hold shift while you jump so you can actually place these. And then 2 blocks away from this, let's place another strip of 3 bookshelves this time. Now, in between this, let's place in our bed. So place your first one on the bottom like this, and then let's actually add our ladder on here, go up to the very top. We're going to place another bed like this, and then another one on top, and then we're going to remove this middle one, and that just makes it easier to place this one along the top. Next, in front of the bookshelves, let's place in 2 spruce fences. Then let's climb up the ladder and place a trapdoor on top of the fence, and then another 2 coming away from that trapdoor. Then let's place another trapdoor on top of this barrel, and over here on top of the bookshelves, let's place a flower pot with your flower of choice. I'm going with a cornflower, and then that's it for the bunk bed design. Next up, we've got a more of a smaller, simplistic bed design. This is also using some terracotta, a block I don't think I've ever used in my life. And yeah, just a really simple encased bed design. Let's build it now. So firstly, let's place in our terracotta. For this, we're actually using white glazed terracotta, and I'm not gonna lie, I had to look up a video on how to place terracotta. It's really confusing. But for this one, to place these in the correct orientation, we're actually going to stand on the left and face this way to place our first one. And we know that we placed this right because this little sun looking thing is on the bottom right. And then for the next one, we're not actually going to stand on the other side, or else it's going to be placed up here, but we're going to stand in front and place it down. And that way this kind of pattern kind of matches up. It's really confusing. I don't know why it's like that, but yeah, we're not going to ask questions. Next, on top of the terracotta, let's place some white carpet, and then on the sides, let's encase them up with some spruce trapdoors. Next, in front of the terracotta, place 2 orange beds just like this, and then on the very end of these beds, place in some more trapdoors. And then, lastly, on the sides of all of these beds, just cover them up with some spruce signs. And that's it for our simple bed design. Next up, onto our final bed design of the lot, is a pretty complex bed design actually. We've got bookshelves back here, we've got 2 beds, we've got some little personal storage on the sides here, and overall it's just a really nice, cohesive looking bed design. Really grand, would look nice in like a castle keep or something like that, or like a really nice big bedroom. And yeah, let's build it now. So firstly, let's head up to the very back of the wall, and we're going to count 2 blocks up from the bottom. And then on the very bottom of the 3rd block, we're going to place in 4 trapdoors like this. Now on the sides, let's place in a bunch of spruce slabs like this. And then in the middle, let's place in 2 bookshelves. Now in these areas here, let's place in some upside down spruce stairs. And then in the middle of these, let's place in 2 trapdoors like this. Underneath these stairs, let's place in a couple of barrels. Make sure to place this one like that, so we don't have this like weird face sticking out on that side. Then in between these 2 barrels, let's place in some white wool. Coming out from this white wool, let's place in 2 light blue beds, or whatever color you want. Then in front of these barrels, let's place in some more spruce stairs, and in front of those stairs, some slabs. Then in front of the beds, some more slabs, and in the corners, some more spruce trapdoors. And then to finish it off, let's come up here, place in a bunch of flower pots all the way along, and then we're going to place in a red tulip, orange tulip, white tulip, and a pink tulip. And there we go, there's our grand big bed design completed. Next up is another set of table and chairs. This time it's more of like a dinner table. Would also look nice in a royal kind of setting, like in a castle or a keep or something like that. And we've also got this really nice table design using some powered pistons. And then we've got some nice little decorations on top as well. And yeah, let's build it now. So before we start, you're gonna have to take a big chunk out of your floor like this. This one is 2 by 3 and it's also 2 deep as well. Then let's cover up the entire bottom with some redstone blocks. And then on top of all of those, a piston all the way around. Next, let's add in our chairs. So the first one's going to be right here, the next 2 along here, and then this next chair is going to be kind of the opposite of this one, so not here but on this block here. And then these next 2 chairs are going to be in the same place as these ones here, like this. Next, let's just add our little tabletop kind of designs here. So firstly, let's go with a cake, then a blackstone pressure plate, and then we're going to place a flower pot on this block here. And there we go, there's our table and chairs design completed. Next up, we've got our second kitchen design. This one's pretty similar to the first one. We've got some barrels along the top here, and also a little bit of decoration. We've got a working stove, well not really working, but a smoking stove, a little sink as well, and yeah, I'll show you how to build it right now. So let's start with the bottom bench first, and we're going to do that by placing 2 strip spruce wood blocks like this. Beside that, a cauldron, and place some water inside of that as well. Next, we're going to place a furnace, but before we place that, let's destroy the block underneath, place a campfire, and then chuck your furnace on top. Now on top of the furnace, let's place a polished blackstone pressure plate. And then on the top of these 2 blocks here, let's place a lever, and then to the right of that, a cake. Now for all of the top blocks, let's place our barrels first. So come along the top and place in 3 barrels just like this. On top of these, let's place in a spruce trapdoor, and then on front of all of these, place a spruce sign. Now to the left of this, above the furnace, let's place a polished deep slate slab, and then above that, a cobbled deep slate wall. And that's our kitchen design completed. Alright, next up, we've got another simple kind of bookshelf decoration design thing. For this one, we've got some nice decorations in front of the actual bookshelves, and it's all enclosed in this neat little design. And yeah, I'll show you how to build it right now. Okay, so to start off, let's place in our 4 bookshelves, and these are going to be raised 1 block above the floor, like this, in just a square. And then in front of these bookshelves, let's place on the top corners some upside down spruce stairs, and then on top of these, we're going to place some more spruce stairs along the top. And then on the sides, some spruce trapdoors. We're going to place 6 on total on each side. And this is just to kind of enclose the whole design. So repeat this again on the other side. Next, let's head around to the front. We're going to place 2 beehives just like this. On the left side, a large amethyst bud, and on the right, some candles, and also be sure to ignite them. And there we go, there's our enclosed bookshelf design completed. Next, we've got a really nice and simple grandfather clock design. This only really uses a couple of blocks, but it also looks really nice. Fits in a nice small area as well. And yeah, let's build it now. So firstly, let's place a spruce stair block upside down on the very bottom in the middle, and then one block above that, let's place our stripped spruce wood block. Hanging from this block, place a bell. And then on top of this block here, let's place a spruce trapdoor. Now we're going to enclose the whole design with some oak trapdoors. So place 3 on the side like this and close them up. Do the same on the other side as well. And now all that's left to do is place an item frame here and then a clock inside. And that's it for our grandfather clock design. Next up, we've got a really super simple little toilet design. This is obviously going to be placed in a bathroom and is more used for an aesthetic kind of reason. It's not really supposed to be useful at all, kind of like most of these designs, I guess. But also, if you wanted to have this against the wall, you could. You just have to remove these 2 trapdoors and just have one up here. And yeah, even though I don't really need to show you how to build this, let's build it right now. Alright, so firstly, let's come 1 block away from the wall and place your cauldron and then place some water inside. Now heading around to the back, let's place 2 spruce trapdoors like this, close them up, and then place another one just like this on this side. Now if you wanted this flush against the wall, all you'd have to do is place your cauldron, water bucket, and your spruce trapdoor like that. It's up to you whichever design you choose to do. Both look great, and yeah, there's your simple toilet design completed. Next up, we've got a really nice little aquarium design, complete with some plants inside and a little fishy as well, and it's all backlit with some sea lanterns as well. You can of course choose not to have lanterns if you want to, it's up to you. And yeah, it's all enclosed in this really neat little design. So let's build it right now. Starting off, let's place some stripped spruce blocks on the side here. This is 2 high. And then we're going to go 2 blocks away from that and place another 2 like this. Now on top of these, let's place some spruce stairs. Do the same on the other side as well. Then we would be placing some spruce slabs up here, but we're going to leave that to the very end. So now in front of these, let's place another 2 stripped spruce wood blocks like this. And then beside those, some spruce stairs. Now above these blocks here, let's place some glass blocks, 4 in total, and then we're going to encase all of these with some spruce trapdoors. So go all the way up along the top as well, and then come around to the sides and close that all up. Now we're going to head up to the top, and it's up to you if you want to do this or not, but I like to have some lights behind here, so replace these blocks here with some sea lanterns, or your light source block of choice. Next, let's place 2 sand blocks on the bottom. Next, let's grab out our water buckets. We're going to place 2 on the top, and then down here, let's place in 1 seagrass and then 2 kelp up here. And then also you can place in your fish of choice. I'm going to just place it in right here and then cover it up with some spruce slabs. And there we go. There's our nice little aquarium now completed. Next up, we've got yet another design for some table and chairs. This time another kind of dining table kind of set with some nice big chairs here. We've got some decorations on top of the tables and stuff like that. And yeah, I'll show you how to build it right now. Firstly, let's place in our scaffolding, which is actually our table, and we're going to place a 2x3 kind of rectangle of them like this. Now, on either end, let's place some spruce stairs like this, and then we're going to head behind these chairs and place in some spruce trapdoors. We're going to place 4 in total on each side. Now let's come around to the front of these chairs and place some spruce signs on the front of these trapdoors here. And then lastly, let's just decorate the top of the table. On this block here, let's place a polished black stone pressure plate. On this block here, some candles. Be sure to ignite them as well. And then beside that, a flower pot with a dark oak sapling. And that's it for our table and chairs design. And that's actually it for all the designs. Just kidding, we've got 2 more for you. So for this next one, we've actually got another bookshelf display. This one's kind of like it's enclosed in this big kind of like bookshelf display thing. I don't really know how to describe it, but yeah, it looks really nice. And let's build it right now. So firstly, let's place in our bookshelves. We're gonna be placing 6 in total in a little rectangle like this. And then on top of them, let's place in some spruce slabs. Now beside each of these, let's place some stripped spruce wood. I'm going to extend this all the way up to the top and then add in some more spruce slabs above those. Now in front of that, let's place in some fireplaces. Be sure to also extinguish these with your shovel of choice. I'm of course going with gold because I'm an absolute pimp. Now underneath the side fireplaces, let's place some spruce fences. We're just going to place 2 like this, and then on the ground below these, we're going to place in some beehives. And then lastly, in the center here, let's place in 2 lecterns, and then in one of them place a book and quill. You know me, I love my randomness. You can of course place one in both if you want. it's up to you. And yeah, that's it for our bookshelf display design thing. And now for our final design, we have this really interesting kind of like drying rack design that Crypto came up with. So we've got like this row of extinguished fireplaces here, and on these we have a bunch of raw meat, and it just kind of looks like a little drying rack. It's a nice design for maybe like a medieval kind of shop or something like that. Just an interesting decoration. And yeah, I'll show you how to build it right now. So to start this off, let's first grab our spruce doors. We're going to head directly onto the back wall and turn around, and then we're going to place our 2 doors like this. And now this is where you have a choice on how you want this to look. You can either have one door open like I did, you can have both doors open, it's up to you. But for this one, I'm just going to have one door closed and one door open. So now let's place some spruce trapdoors, and we're going to kind of enclose this entire design. Place them on the other side as well. Be sure to close them up too. Then on top, let's place some spruce slabs. And then of course we have this big gap here. So to cover this up, we're going to grab some spruce trapdoors. We're going to place one on top of this door here. And then we're going to place one on top of this door like this. And now with this design, you can't close this one and close this trapdoor, unfortunately. You kind of have to keep this open, or you could shorten this as well and just have it on this layer here. And that way you can open and close it whenever you want. So now let's finish it off. Let's place in our 6 campfires. We're going to place them all along like this and extinguish them with your shovel as well. Might be kind of tricky to extinguish that top one. And also with whichever design you went with, you're going to need either 4 of each meat, or you're going to need 8 of each meat if you have the other door open. But for this design, I'm going to keep it permanently closed, so I'm only going to need 4 of each meat on each of these racks. So for the first one, let's place 4 raw rabbits, and then the next one 4 raw chickens, and then on the last one 4 raw beefs. Alright, and that's it for all 32 of the interior designs. Now this was a lot of fun to build, create, and edit, and it also took a really long time. So if you enjoyed this different kind of video and you liked all of these designs, or even just one of the designs, be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe for future tutorials just like this one. Also be sure to check out Crypto's channel for his video of all of these designs as well, and give it a like. Thank you for watching everyone, and I will see you in the next video.